Where we are is at the fourth floor of Sewell Hall, in this space called Senior Studio, and there's 18 other students who share this studio space. We're sort of like in the penultimate week for our work for Senior Studio. So all of our work is due at the end of this week, the beginning of next week. But what I'm interested in right now is dimensionality and the space that paintings traditionally occupy on the wall, and thinking of that as a more sculptural area. Doing sculpture, I think, allows you to think like in 3 dimensions, but I don't like how installation-based sculpture is. And so I'm trying to think about how I can make traditionally 2-dimensional surfaces that exist on the wall into a more 3-dimensional space. I think the act of like turning the 2 dimensions into a more 3-dimensional space is what interests me at this point in time.
When I see an art major at the end of their time who's invested in painting show a painting that's like cut up or you know, somehow presented in such a way that is not passive canvas on the wall experience. Not to denigrate that, I think a lot of great paintings can be that, but if I see something that's more like experimental in its form, willing to, you know, take a risk by like, you know, whether that's a simple action of cutting through something or putting 2 things together that traditionally might not have seemed like they would mesh, those are good, that's a good thing. This always struck me about Kayden, and I think is something that a lot of other faculty feel about him as well, is he has been such a good citizen of our department. He's been really generous to his peers and to the faculty that he's worked with over the years. And for me, you know, that was made manifest in early days with just seeing someone so engaged and like wanting, like a sponge, wanting to soak up everything that he could get out of a classroom experience. And that doesn't mean just what I had to share, but that also means what his peers had to share and the kinds of conversations that we got in together as a group.
Going back to that first semester with Natasha, how we painted, she met you where you were. She provided all the technical skills and feedback that you possibly could want, but she also wasn't so caught up in it that she didn't let you explore what you wanted to do on your own. As soon as you start talking about art, you start talking about people, you start talking about when you make art, you're making art for others to view. You're thinking about how your art's positioned in society. Taking art in that lens that we view art through helps me think about computer science more broadly. How I am a human making coding, programming, creating designs. Well, I think the number one trepidation that like an incoming student would have, or a prospective student, or a parent of a prospective student is, what am I going to do with an art degree? Art is a great lens to look at the world through. And I think that you're building skills that go beyond just making art. Creative thinking is something that's valued in a lot of spaces. Being at Rice, you have an opportunity to take risks in a controlled environment, a safe space. You have an opportunity to take a risk, and there's people who can give you advice on like what you should do. But if you want to just full send it and do something, you are in a place where it's okay to fail, where it's okay to back out. The point of being here is to explore new things and find new things. And if you don't find a new thing, that's okay. You're just where you started. If you don't take the risk, you never have the opportunity to find something new. And I think that in that same way, if you're thinking about like doing art, taking an art class, you should take the risk, because worst case scenario, you decide it's not for me. Best case scenario, you found a new passion.